Hi everybody, it's Katie here, and today we'll be doing a scrapbooking process video, a picture of me and my mom. So here's the picture of me and my mom. It was taken on our most recent family vacation, and it's got a really fun story that we're going to talk about in a bit. But these papers I had gotten at Walmart probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and for the story I want to tell with this picture, I really want to use those arrows. So I just kind of flip through and decide which papers I want to use. Now, a previous project that I had done, there were some embellishments I hadn't put away yet. So I just look through and see if there's anything that I want to use on this project. And sadly, there's not much. So I get to the rest of my embellishments and I start looking through them. I do tend to keep my embellishment collections together by designer or company in a Ziploc baggie. And on the baggie, I write the designer's name or the company's name and the month and the year that I got the collection. So that way, when it's time to start using up my old stuff to make way for new stuff, I know what to attack first. So for this, I did use some crepe paper embellishments, Vicki Boutin, Pink Fresh, Simple Stories, I believe. And so just a lot of fun things. As I'm going through my collections, I'm pretty much looking for colors. Any colors that would match the colors of that paper, I'm looking for. Sometimes you may not have a lot, sometimes you may only have a little. Some collections just aren't going to work. That's fine. I do sometimes gravitate towards the more romantic collections, although hardly any page I make is actually romantic, which is funny. So I just use bits and pieces, and so they last a really long time. But for a summer layout, I think really bright, bold colors really screams summer. So I'm just kind of going through all of my embellishment collections and just seeing if I have anything bright that would go. So for this story, pretty much what excuse me, pretty much what was happening is we were in the car on our way to the beach, and I was doing an Instagram story. So on my Instagram story, I was filming my mom and myself, and I asked my mom, "Mom, where are we going?" And she pauses. It's like she doesn't know what she's gonna say, so I ask her again, "Mom, where are we going?" So she looks up at the street light, and then she looks back at the camera, and she says, "Left." So I'm like, "Mom, what's left?" And she says, "Seagrove." "Mom, what's Seagrove?" She finally says, "The beach." The beach. Um, so we got a really big kick out of that, and I'm really happy I got a picture of us right after that happened because it was, I mean, maybe you just had to be there, but it was really funny. So now I'm just going and looking through some of my sticker collections to see if I have any stickers that I want to use or that could I possibly use. So I'm just kind of grabbing things. I'm also looking through my chipboard sticker collection and my 12 by 12 sticker collections. Now, I do tend to keep my 12 by 12 sticker collections in the Ziploc bag that I get from my Hip Kit subscription. It just kind of keeps everything nice and pretty. So now I have gone through and I've selected the embellishments that I do want to use. I have mounted my photo on the green paper, and now I am going to take my white background and mount it on the stripes so I have a border. I did cut that white scrapbook paper down a half an inch on two sides. So now I'm just kind of trying to decide which order I want the papers to be in. That's important sometimes, right? I mean, it gives you a completely different vibe. And so I'm just going to, I'm, I think it was like 2.5 inch strips. I went from 2.5 to like 3 inch strips for these papers. And then I just kind of cut, end up cutting the ends off a little bit more. So, yeah, so about 4 inches I take off. So they're about between 2.5 and 3 by 8 inches. So I do take a black marker and I outline the edges of these papers so they're not just floating on the page. It kind of anchors them. If you have a sewing machine and you want to sew around edges of your paper like this, by all means do. I just don't have a sewing machine and I have no idea how to use one. So maybe I'll take a class one day about it. I'm not sure. So now I'm deciding how I want that paper layer to go, and I'm thinking horizontal. I did print out my journaling prior to starting, and I just printed it with typewriter font on my printer on some white cardstock. I was thinking about putting it maybe halfway down so it was half on the blue and halfway on the white, but since it's white cardstock, it kind of got lost. So I put it on top of the blue um, pattern paper. That way it gives it a little weight and some anchoring. So now I am messing with the embellishments, and sometimes, it takes a while to get them kind of exactly how you want them, especially with that flower there. It was kind of giving me trouble the way that I wanted it. Now, for the stickers that I'm using, I do tend to put them on wax paper before putting them down, so that way I can see exactly where I want them. I also love when you get embellishments and they have words on them and you can kind of make a sentence or tell a part of the story, or sometimes it even becomes the title for me. I don't even mess with the title because the embellishment words say what the title is. And so for this, I really like how I have Hello Vacation Time Memories. Um, it's just a lot of fun for me when that all comes together. Man, those flowers, they're really just giving me a problem, aren't they? Yep, I think I finally got them the way that I want them. So now I'm going to start adhering the photo layer together. I do tend to do the top down. Sometimes I find that it's easier. Sometimes it ends up not necessarily being easier because when you start putting elements on, it's not exactly where you intended them to go. As you see there, my hello is kind of a little further to the left than I want it to be. But it's just paper and glue. So as long as you don't mat it down as hard as you can always move it and get things back to where you want them. Now, I did use some Stampin' Dimensionals to give that vacation time embellishment a little lift from the page, just to give it a little dimension, which I really like to do. So now that I have that, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to stick the back of my photo layer on the paper layer as soon as I get that adhered down with my tape runner. Now, for the photo frame, since you're only going to be seeing a little bit of it, instead of using the whole thing, I just clipped off the part that you would see because it makes no sense to use the whole thing when you're not going to see it. For the memory sticker, I did take a little bit of Stampin' Dimensionals, just the sides you can peel off to get a little lift. Because since the vacation time is lifted, if I didn't lift the right side of that memory sticker, part of it would be flat and the other part wouldn't, and that would be kind of bad. And on my camera, I also use some Stampin' Dimensionals just to give it a little more lift. So I think I'm done, but I decided I wanted to do an actual title. So using my alpha stickers, I went ahead and spelled out the word left. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want them. I ended up deciding on the lower right-hand corner, half on the blue pattern paper and half on the white. So now I'm just going to put those down. And sometimes they can be a little tricky getting them where you want them. So again, I think I'm done. But then I decide maybe not. So I get some of the paper scraps that I have. As soon as I write the date, I get some paper scraps and I decided I want to cut out a little banner. So I just cut out banners from those 3 different pattern papers and I'm trying to decide where I want them. I'm not sure, but I end up putting them on the right-hand side and stapling them down. My stapler gave me a little problems, but that's okay. So, if you liked today's video, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.